Hi, 5th grade. Today in math, we are doing lesson 8.12, and it is over relating length, area, and volume. So today we're going to talk about length, area, and volume, which are ways that we measure things, but each one of these different things measures a different type of thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today so that we really understand the difference between length, area, and volume. Let's first start with length. If I am measuring length, I am measuring how long something is. Okay, that's what it means to measure the length of something, how long something is. So if I wanted to measure how long it is from my desk to the door, I would measure the length. When I'm using length, my label is always just the units that I'm measuring in. So if I'm measuring in centimeters, my label is just centimeters. If I'm measuring in inches, my label is just inches. Area means that I'm measuring how much it would take to cover something. So how much to cover something. And I'm going to draw a picture with this one because this one's a little bit harder to understand. If I want to know the area of, let's say, a rectangle, I am measuring how much it would take to cover the inside of that rectangle. And remember, that's a flat shape. So area measures how much it takes to cover a flat shape. When I'm doing area, I have a special label. I have to say square and then whatever units that I'm using. So square centimeters, square inches, whatever it might be. The third type of measurement that we have is volume. And if I am measuring the volume, I am measuring how much can fit. And we're working with 3D shapes. Volume goes with 3D shapes. I'm measuring how much can fit in there, or like how much it would take to fill something of a 3D shape when I'm measuring the volume. And volume deals with a special label, and that label is cubic units. So if I'm measuring the volume, my label is always going to be cubic, and then whatever units I'm measuring in, inches, feet, centimeters, things like that. Let's see if we can use these three different types of measurement to tell how we would find the answer of these questions. So for instance, the first one says, how much wallpaper is needed for one wall? So if I wanted to put wallpaper on one wall in my house, would I need to measure the length, the area, or the volume to see how much wallpaper I needed? Well, wallpaper is going to cover the wall, so I need to find the area. I need to see how much it's going to take to cover that wall. All right, let's try the next question. How much carpet is needed for a floor? So if I want to re-floor my classroom with carpet, I need to know how much carpet I need to buy to put that down in my classroom. That would be how much to cover, so that would be area. Again, I would need to know the area of my room to figure out how much carpet that I needed. How much sand is in a sandbox? If I want to know how much sand is in a sandbox, would I try to find the length of it, the area of it, or the volume of it? That would be volume. I want to know how much sand can fit in the sandbox. Remember, a sandbox is going to be 3D. If it was flat, all the sand would fall out. How long is a string? Well, if I want to know how long the string is, I'm just going to measure its length. How far is it from a doorknob to the floor? So from the doorknob to the floor, if I wanted to know how far that was, I'm again going to find the length. See how long it is from here to here. How much space is there inside a refrigerator? Space inside a refrigerator, that would be the volume. Be like, how much can fit in my refrigerator? That's the volume. How much water is in a swimming pool? Ooh, how much water is in a swimming pool? That would also be volume. How much water can fit inside? Swimming pools are 3D. And last question here like this. How tall are you? Doesn't want to know how tall you are. Which type of measurement would you use? Length, area, or volume? that would be length, because that would tell how tall you are. Okay, so today we are really working on figuring out which type of measurement we need to use. Do we need to use the length, the area, or the volume for certain different kinds of problems? We do have a couple more word problems down here at the bottom just to practice, so let's read those next and go from there. Parker builds a planter in the shape of a rectangular prism that is 6 feet wide, 3 feet deep, and 2 feet tall. How much soil will he need to fill it? Well, if he's filling it with soil, I am calculating the volume, and I know that volume is length times width times height. So let me see if I can find those measurements so that I can figure out the volume. The width is 6. It is 3 feet deep, or length, that's fine, and 2 feet tall. So we need to do 3 times 6 times 2 to figure out its volume. I'm going to do 3 times 2 first, which is 6. And then I need to times by the other 6. And 6 times 6 gives me 36. So his planter is 36. It says how much soil will he need to fill it? 36. I have to be careful to get the right label. We were finding volume, so it needs to be cubic. And then I'm looking for my units. They were using feet. So it would take 36 cubic feet of soil to be able to fill his planter that he is making. Okay, one more. A cargo hold of a truck has a height of 3 yards and is 5 yards wide. The volume of the cargo hold is listed as 240 cubic yards. What is the length of the cargo hold? Okay, here I know I'm working with volume because it literally tells me the word volume in there. And I remember volume equals length times width times height. Let's fill in what we know about this cargo hold of the truck. Well, I know the volume is 240, so I'm going to write that underneath the V because that's the volume. I don't know the length, so for length I'm going to put a question mark. We're not sure what that is yet. Times, the width is how wide, and it says it's 5 wide, times the height, and it has a height of 3. Right? Now, I want to start solving for that question mark so that I know the length of my cargo hold. So first, I'm going to do 5 times 3 because I can easily do that, which is 15. And then I'm going to fill in what I have left. Times question mark equals 240. So I know 15 times something is going to equal that volume. And if I can figure out what that something is, I will be able to know the length of this cargo hold. How am I going to figure out what that length is? Something times 15 equals 240. Well, to figure out that something, I can divide. 240 divided by 15 would tell me the length. I'm going to do that over here. I'm about out of room. 240 divided by 15. Well, 15 will go into 24 one time. Minus 15 is going to give me a 9. Bring down that 0. Now I have to think how many 15s will fit into 90. I think that's going to be a 6. Let's try it and see. 15 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 more is 9. Yep, it was perfectly 90. So my answer would be 16. I'm gonna have to squeeze it in down here. And the question says, what is the length of the cargo hold? Well, it would be 16 yards. Our label would only be yards because it's just asking for the length. And remember, we said length is just the regular units as its label. So that one we kind of had to work backwards. On your assignment, you are going to be using length, area, and volume, and distinguishing the difference between using each of those types of measurement. Go ahead and start on your assignment. Good luck and do your very best. Bye.